lovely to be here, and thank you all for coming out. I don't have a very strong voice, so if you can't hear me, just yell. I'm going to change the order a little bit. I do have 10 minutes of reading, but I'm not going to read it as a 10-minute chunk because the pieces don't follow one after the other. So I'm going to start with a little piece about my writing process, then I'll read a bit, then I'll talk about whatever again, and then I'll read the last bit, so you know what's going to go on. So when I'm writing, it usually begins for me, a character pops into my head, or I do a free writing piece and a character comes up. I do lots of free writing pieces, and some of them, they just come and go. Some of them stick with me for a long time, and when they stick with me, then I think, oh, better pay attention to that, and I start kind of paying attention to it. So usually what I do is I have more than one writing thing on the go. I didn't recognize I did this, somebody else recognized I did it, and then I thought, oh yeah, I do that. And then I pick something to write about, and then I change my mind, and then I go back to something old I wrote, and that's what I develop. And that seems to be what I do. I just accept that that's what I do, right? For example, when I did New Girl, I had a little paragraph that I had written probably 12 years before, and I was desperate looking for something to write about, and I just went through old pieces and I found that, and then I developed that into that book. The characters in it, one of the characters stayed the same, and the other character changed completely as I was writing the book. The second, well, I've actually written 5 books, but 3 of them are no good, so we won't talk about those. When I did Left Unsaid, the characters were in my head for probably 15 years. And again, they didn't turn out in the novel the way they were in my head. Their places in society were the same, but they weren't the same characters, right? And I wrote the book in a month. I was putting off writing it, and I thought one August, I'd just write this damn book. Nearly killed me, but I wrote the book. I did it in 3 different voices. I took a week off, I went back and read it and thought, this is rubbish. The story is fine, but it's not right. And I looked through it to find the most interesting character. And the interesting character I found was one I had paid least attention to in writing that. So then I took it, I started writing it from her point of view. And the story stayed the same, but how it was told changed completely. In the one I'm going to read from tonight, I took a workshop with Susie Gardner, and she gave us a photograph and asked us to write a paragraph about the photograph. And I wrote the paragraph. And the photograph was a man from the back carrying a violin case. And what I wrote, just off the top of my head without thinking about it, had to do with somebody in some kind of a camp, seeing somebody walk in tatters but carrying a violin case and being so hungry for music that they started following the character through the camp. And that has morphed into a very strange speculative fiction story. And the character, I didn't know who the character who was following was in the beginning, and they've morphed into Ellis, who's the main character in this one. And the man with the violin case has morphed into a woman, so there you go. That's just how it kind of goes. And when I begin to write, I have no particular direction I'm going. I'm just kind of exploring what the characters are like, what they do. And when I get into a certain amount of the story, ideas start coming up, and I just look at what those ideas are, and then I pick 1 or 2 and I start developing them. I write scene by scene, so I set up a whole bunch of scenes, and I think my scenes are very broad. They're like, oh, something has to happen, character A has to meet character B, and I just write that down. And when I have a whole bunch of them, it stops me wondering when I sit down to write, what am I going to write about? I just take one of those scenes and I just write it. I don't write them in relation to each other, I just write the scene, right? I never, and you will find this in what I'm doing tonight, I never work on the language until I know I'm keeping the scene, which is very far into the process. So that's what you will find tonight when I'm reading, because this is a new work. So I'm going to read to you from, it's a speculative fiction book, and basically what it is far into the future. I kind of see Canada, but it's not really Canada, where, you know, the big one has happened and the whole west coast up to the mountains is gone. and climate change has taken over, and so the middle of the country is pretty much a waste, and farming happens weather-wise, so there's this great big transient people who go back and forth across camps across the country following farming, because agri-farming is kind of gone. And the government is in control of absolutely everything, and the corporations together. So that's kind of the basis of it. So Ellis, this is the beginning, so I'll just be the beginning and then whatever. Glasses, yes, I think this doesn't work. The download progress bar speeds across the screen, then sticks fast at 67%. Just as I hear Pia in my headphones, you've got a ping, there's a ping, get out now. I watch the bar, willing it to move. I can't get out now. I want too badly to know what is in that file. A curiosity that has been on the back burner since I was 18 and Cranberry told me to apply for music school. I'm using a fake ID at a public computer at the university. I'm in a long-haired wig, a hat, and a snazzy girl's suit. Pia in a student hoodie pulled well forward on her face, black pants and boots. Neither of us would be caught dead dressed like this in real life. We bounced the signal through so many loops, it'll take a while to trace it. We arrived here separately, took up our places in different parts of the library, not acknowledging one another in any way. We've taken what precautions we can. As long as OSER doesn't show up right now, we'll be long gone before they know we've been here. That is, of course, if they haven't upgraded their detection capabilities, which according to my sources, they haven't. It was pinged, leave it, Pia again. Her voice almost breaks the whisper barrier and draws attention to us. The bar is at 93%. I hold up one finger, hoping that Pia will see it, and keep my eyes glued to the screen. Shite, Alice, the ulcer will be outside the door, kill it. She sounds agitated, and Pia doesn't really do agitation. We'd shot the signal around so much, GovSir order, or OSER, as everyone called it then, couldn't get here fast enough anyway. They won't, it's just a ping. It is just a ping, isn't it? I whisper back. A ping is an alert that someone has tried to access the file. It isn't a hack warning, which really would have OSER here on the spot. And I could expect to spend a long time locked up, or whatever it is they do to hackers these days. It is just a ping, but it's still a hack. Get out. The progress bar says 20 minutes to go, and if that were indeed the case, I do need to get out now. But I know it's just a system-generated number, unlikely to be real. And I really hope the ping simply tells someone somewhere that the file has been accessed, someone far away, someone who won't get the alert for days with any luck. And if luck holds, there is no hack alert attached to it. I've always been a lucky person, and right now, I count on that fact. You go, I say to Pia, afraid to look around in case something changes on the screen, and wary too of the cameras picking up Pia in connection with me. Pia says nothing, just gives a sort of a snort. I hear shuffling sounds like she's packing up her stuff. She keeps the connection open, so I guess she's sticking around. It has taken me months to figure out how to get into the system and locate the file I want, and to do it undetected. A ping hadn't figured in my plans at all. Why on earth would a file about my origin be pinged? But then, why on earth did I have a guardian I'd known nothing about until I was 18? A guardian who paid a pretty penny to keep me in a nice school, and who advised me, by letter, when I turned 23, that I had a shitload of money in a bank. As soon as I find out what's in my file, I am going to find this mysterious guardian, that's for sure. The progress bar starts to move again, and in a blink it's at 100%. Done, I tell Pia, and grab my portable, stuff it into my pocket, shut down the connection, and make my way out of the library. About time, I hear her say, as I detach my headphones, a grin across my face I can't hide. We leave separately with no contact, just as we arrived. As calmly as I can, I walk past the other students dotted about the hall, some sleeping over their work, some reading or staring at computer screens, a few actually tapping keyboards. none paying anything more than casual attention to me. I checked the windows in the atrium, half expecting to see OSERT troops outside, but see nothing unusual. I keep my pace easy and steady until I reach the campus entrance, and then head west and slip into a small cafe. In the washroom, I change into my regular clothes, wrap the wig, suit, shoes, and hat in a plastic bag. On the way to the bistro, where Pio and I have agreed to meet later and debrief, I drop the plastic bag into a skip. So that's what came up following this person through a camp with their violin. It goes all over the place. So the other thing I would like to talk about a little bit is Left Unsaid doesn't have any gay characters in it. And after I finished that book, well, we go back. The first one, New Girl, is about a young woman who is a lesbian. And writing that book, I decided that I was not having any trauma to do with her discovering her attraction to other females. I feel very strongly that writing about that kind of trauma just perpetuates it in the world, and I just thought, I'm not doing that ever. So that's, and then after I wrote Left Unsaid, I thought, you know what, getting published in this world is like, right? So I'm going to write what I like. So I started writing, including gay characters in what I'm writing, but insofar as it makes sense, not ever having being gay be problematic, because I just don't want to perpetuate, and I want to give hope that it can be that it's not problematic. So that's kind of the stance I've taken about that. What else do I want to say about writing? So when I'm writing things, I ask myself a whole bunch of questions. So I look at the characters and I say, who is this character? What's their background? Probably 90% of what I think up and what I figure out never gets in the book, ever, but I have to know it, right? So I kind of think, who are they? What are they doing? Why is this bunch of people together? What do they have in common? What do they not have in common? And then I have a whole bunch of questions about, so what are they doing? Why are they doing it? And if they do that, then what happens next? But I don't actually write a plan of what I'm doing, because that would bore me to death. I just don't want to do that. But I find that I have to have certain kinds of stepping stones. So I'll say, okay, this is the basic story, and usually when I get 25,000 words in, the end pops into my head. And as soon as the end is in my head, then I know where I'm going and I relax. And I just when I get stuck, I go back to the text and say, what's in here? What have I said already? What can I pick up on? So I find little spots and I kind of drill down into them. I take a sentence and I think, okay, on this sentence, there's an idea here, so you have to write a page and a half. And so I write on that one thing for a page and a half. A page and a half doesn't often end up in the book, but it enriches the book. And I think that's probably all the time I have to talk about this kind of thing. Oh, mind maps. For this book, I use mind maps. You all know what mind maps are? You get a little bubble, and in the bubble you write something, and then you put little things out of it that's all related to it, right? You relate them to each other. And so I put these little bubbles in, and then out of the bubbles, I put all the questions that I have. Who are these characters? What are their names? How old are they? What are they doing? And when I answer all those questions, I delete them so that I can keep on track with what it is I'm doing. I print them out so that I have them to refer to later, but I delete them. And I find those very, very, they keep me on track. They're very useful things to do for me. They wouldn't work for everybody, but they work for me. Yeah, and the characters often do things I don't expect them to do, so I just go with whatever the characters want to do. Or I have to think, why don't they want to do that? And usually I find that whatever character I've created actually wouldn't do that. That's just not what they would do. However they would react, that it wouldn't be that way. That's my idea of what the story is, but it's actually not true to the character at all, so then I change it. So that's the other thing I do. When I finished New Girl, I thought I had cracked how to write a novel. I hadn't. Every one has been different. I cannot use the same process that I used, except my scene by scene, that works, but nothing else worked. Absolutely not a single thing. So I'm going to read the last part. If this is not connected to the first part, so when she did this thing, when she broke into the file, somebody that she thought was OSIR, who was the order service people, came looking for her. So she has to disappear. And she was planning a big trip with her girlfriend and her other best friend. And now she has to break it to her girlfriend that the trip is off. And that it's not off, but it's a whole different thing. So this is the part I'm reading now. Fritz's head rests on my belly, the window open to the night. I'm about to wreck the lazy euphoric after sex time. I did something, Fritz. She half sits and faces me, her eyes bright and excited. Compose something? No, not that. Something, not at all that. Something OSIR would want to talk to me about. They'll probably talk to you and Coster maybe even Pia. Anyone really who they think I hang with. Holy Mother of God, Fritz shot right off the bed in one movement. She'd taken to using old-time phrases along with retro stuff she'd been into lately. She even wears specs instead of getting a correction like most folk. What did you do? What? Steal someone's music? Write something provocative? What? None of those, but something. She settles back on her elbow. Well, what is it? I can't tell you. What you don't know can't get you into trouble. If you're picked up, you can truthfully say you know nothing. You'll be okay. I'm your lover, your best friend. Tell me. No, I shouldn't. Nobody knows. I don't worry about lying. Pia and I decided it was safer not to tell anyone what we've been up to. It's definitely safer for me not to tell Fritz nobody knows. She'd be crazy raged if she knew I roped Pia into my schemes and not her. I can't even claim that Pia's data skills were better because they aren't. Pia is just more daring and has a cooler head. She can keep her mouth shut too. She won't make complications for me later. I trust Pia. As I watch emotions shift across Fritz's face, I wonder whether that means I trust Pia more than Fritz. Of course I don't. I want to protect Fritz and Coster, my best friends. Look, Fritz, just be okay with it, right? It's best. I stroke her arm the way I know she likes. She jerks away. And our trip, you know, that once-in-a-lifetime thing we've been planning all these dreary months while Coster fixed the damn van. It's still on. There's a new plan. I won't be going with you. Pia will go instead. Look, Pat, I know it's hard, but it's safest for all of us, especially me. When you go east, I'll join you. Fritz turns away and looks out the window for a minute. Her chest rises and falls as she tries to rein in her anger. I'd known she wouldn't take the news well, and in that moment, a walk across the continent alone seemed like a really good idea. A new plan, and I'm the last to know, I suppose? She fairly spat at me. You are. Only because I had to clear with Coster that he could do what I need. Look, Pet, don't be upset. It'll still be a great trip. Don't you pet me. How could you leave me right out of it all? How could you? I know you've been weird because you can't compose and don't want to do gigs or play. You shut me out of what's going on with you there. And now you've got yourself into something that shut me out again. She gathered her clothes from the floor and threw her dress on over her head. It was inside out, but it took her a minute or two of wrestling with it to figure that out. Fritz, calm down, it's not like that. Look, I could be in really deep shite here, right up to my eyebrows. I'm trying to keep it from splattering over you and Coster. I had to act fast. I'm sorry, I really am. Don't go.